According to the Centers for Disease Control, approximately 76 million cases of foodborne illness are reported in the United States annually. Each day, more than 27 million children get their lunch through the National School Lunch Program. Food is prepared in schools by food service staff, so it is important to prevent cross-contamination and ensure that kitchen safety is top priority. In this video, you will learn the proper food placement in the refrigerator, freezer, and dry storage room to help keep the food service staff safe as well as the children being served. Additional topics that will be covered include receiving dates, proper temperatures, first in, first out, storage of chemicals. First, let's talk about the proper food placement in the refrigerator and freezer, since both follow the same guidelines. When deciding where to store certain foods on the shelves in a refrigerator and/or freezer, think about which foods are the most dangerous in terms of foodborne illness and how easily they can cross-contaminate other foods. For example, meat products can carry certain bacteria or microorganisms such as salmonella, and if not stored properly, can contaminate other foods such as fresh produce. Also, food that does not require cooking, like lettuce and fresh fruit, need to be especially protected to ensure that harmful microorganisms do not come in contact with these foods. Let's look at the proper placement of foods in the refrigerator and freezer. It is important to place foods on the shelves in order of least dangerous to most dangerous from top to bottom. Here's what the order will look like. Ready-to-eat foods, whole meat, ground meat, poultry. Let's go into a little more detail about each of these categories. Starting at the top are ready-to-eat foods like packaged cheese, microwave meals, dressings, butter, and other condiments. Also stored on the top shelf are fruits and vegetables. The next shelf down is whole meat. This includes whole hams and whole slabs of beef, such as steaks and ribs. The third shelf down is ground meat, such as ground beef used to make hamburger patties. On the bottom shelf, and the most dangerous food product, is poultry. This shelf will include any poultry product, whole or ground, such as turkey or chicken. Employee boxes must also be properly stored in the walk-in. The box must be clearly labeled and stored on a bottom shelf away from the other food to prevent cross-contamination. Another key issue that is often overlooked is proper dating of food items. Food items need to be dated not only upon receiving, but also when the food items are moved from freezer to refrigerator for thawing. When food is received, it is required that the date be written on the outside packaging in a legible manner that can be spotted easily. When food is removed from the freezer and moved to the refrigerator, a separate date must also be written on the packaging, also in a legible manner that can be spotted easily. Remember, the temperatures of the refrigerator and freezers need to be checked twice daily and recorded. The temperature for refrigerators must be 41 degrees Fahrenheit or below, and freezers must be 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Although temperatures must be checked twice daily, if the temperatures are not within the correct range, please report it to a manager as soon as a problem is noticed. When it comes to dry storage, the guidelines are not as strict, but still very important. Just as refrigerated or frozen food requires a receive date, dry storage foods also require a receive date. Make sure to write the date on products in a convenient spot that can be seen when looking at the shelf. Also, make sure to write the date on both sides of the box or container. This way, you can keep track of which products come in first. Remember to use the rule first in, first out, which means that foods with older dates should be used first. Once food has been received, move the older items forward on the shelf and place the newer items behind. Another important thing to keep in mind when maintaining dry storage rooms is to make sure the room is cool and dry to prevent mildew or moisture buildup, which can spoil some foods. Foods also should never be stored on the floor. They should be kept on a shelf at least 6 inches up. This can prevent pests from getting into the food. Another important thing to keep in mind when stocking dry storage is that cleaning supplies and other chemicals must be kept in another room away from food. As a review of the topics covered in this video, here are some key points to remember. Be aware of dangers of foodborne illnesses and how to recognize preventative measures. Keep in mind the correct placement of foods on the shelves in the refrigerator and freezer. The order goes from top, least dangerous, to bottom, most dangerous. Recall that ready-to-eat foods go on the top shelf. Next down is whole meat, followed by ground meat, and lastly, poultry. Always remember to write the date when food is received and a separate date when food is moved from freezer to refrigerator. Temperatures must be checked and recorded twice a day. In dry storage, remember, first in, first out. Always keep dry storage off the floor, and chemicals must be kept in a separate room away from any food. If all of these key points discussed in this video are followed, the kitchen will be a safe place for all.